Hi friends, this is Selvajan here. Welcome to my networking channel. Hope all are doing good. And today the topic I am going to discuss about how we can configure a static routing in a Cisco ASA firewall. So I have connected here firewall 1 and 2. Both are connected by a gigabit interface 0 by 0. And to the inside security zone of both the firewall, I connected a Cisco device. Okay, so both I am going to configure in a inside security zone, and outside security zone I connected firewall 1 and 2. Okay, we know what is the inside and the outside. So by default, inside is most trusted, which is assigned a security level of 100 by default, and outside we assigned a security zone of 0. So by default, this is less trusted, right? And always we know traffic flows from the higher security zone to the lower security zone. So first and foremost thing, I will be configuring the directly connected interfaces and will be assigning the inside and the outside security zone and the corresponding interfaces for both firewall 1 and 2. Then I will be configuring the Cisco device and the corresponding interface I am going to configure. Then I will going to show you how we can configure the static route in the Cisco ASA firewall. And finally, let us see the communication between Cisco 1 and 2. So this is the actual scenario. Now let us go to the configuration for a better understanding, right? So go to firewall 1 and let us view the running configuration. I have not configured anything. So let us quickly configure the security zone, both inside and the outside. Okay, let us configure from firewall 1. So inside is gigabit 0 by 0, 0 by 1 is inside and 0 by 0 is outside, and the corresponding interfaces. This is 1.1 and 1.2. This is 2.1 and the IP is 2.2. Okay, let us go here. Go to the configuration mode, interface gigabit 0 by 0, and what is the interface is? This is an outside interface. Okay, so let us name IF outside. So you can see by default we assign a security level of 0. Then let us assign the IP address 192.168.1.1 255.255.255.0, and let us do a no shut. Then let us switch to inside interface. Inside interface gigabit 1. So it has a security level of 100, and this is the corresponding interface. Okay. So go to the configuration mode, interface gigabit 0 by 1, name IF inside. Okay. It default it assigned a security level of 100, which is the most trusted. Then let us assign the IP address 192.168.2.1, right? Dot 2.1 255.255.255.0, and let us do a no shut. So we have configured the directly connected interfaces and the corresponding security zone. Now let us jump to Cisco firewall 2 and let us configure the interfaces and the corresponding security zones. Then we'll go to Cisco 1 and 2, right? So now it's firewall 2. Let us configure the interfaces and the corresponding security zone. Let us go to interface gigabit 1. So interface gigabit 1. So the name IF will be inside, that is security level of 100. Okay, then let us assign the IP address 192.168.3.1 255.255.255.0, and let us do a no shut. Similar way, let us go to gigabit 0 by 0, which is assigned the outside security zone. Interface gigabit 0 by 0. Okay, and the name IF is outside zone. Security level will be 0 by default, and let us assign the IP address 192.168.1.2 255.255.255.0, and let us do a no shut. Okay, so we are done with the security zone configuration from both firewall 1 and 2. Now let us quickly view the running configuration. So what are things we have done is gigabit 0. Okay, this is for outside and one is for inside, and the corresponding interfaces. Okay, so let us also view the running configuration of ASA firewall 2. So these are the configuration I did from ASA firewall 2. Okay, so now let us go to Cisco 1 and 2. Let us configure this directly connected interfaces and the corresponding IP address. Okay, so let us go to Cisco 1. Okay, so go to the configuration mode, interface gigabit 0 by 1, and the IP address will be, so this is 1.2.1 is the gateway, and this will be the IP address. Okay, 192.168.2.2 255.255.255.0, and do a no shut. Similar way, let us go to the Cisco 2 and let us configure this IP address. Then I'm going to enable the routing from both firewall and the Cisco device also. Configuration mode, interface, this is gigabit 1. Okay, so gigabit 1 IP address is 192.168.3.2, 255.255.255.0, and let us do a no share. So we have done the configuration from both the firewall and the Cisco end. So let us now ping from Cisco 1 to this IP and this interface to this IP, and let us also ping this IP. Okay, then we'll go to the routing part. So let us go here. So ping 192.168.2.1. Okay, I'm able to reach the particular gateway. Let us also check from Cisco 2 to this particular interface. Go to Cisco 2. So ping 192.168.3.1. So I should be in a position to ping the IP. I'm able to ping. Let us also ping these directly connected interfaces. Let us go to firewall 1. Okay. So ping 192.168.1.2. So I'm able to reach from both the ways. Let us ping from here also. Okay, so now I should be in a position to ping from 2.2 to 3.2. For that, I need to enable the routing, right? So what does the command does? First, I have to let us enable the static routing in the Cisco ASA firewall. Then I have to enable the routing in Cisco end also. That Cisco switch also. So let us enable the routing from Cisco firewall 1. Okay. So what's the command does? We have to enable the route outside. So route outside interface 0.0.0, 0.0.0 and the corresponding interface, because for 2.2 to reach this particular thing we have to enable a static route. So that is the thing I'm enabling, static route outside 0.0.0, 0.0.0, and we have to specify this gateway. Okay, so 192.168.1.2. the similar setup I need to configure in ASA firewall 2 also. So go to ASA 2, go to the configuration mode, route outside. Okay, and I have to this IP 1.1. So I created a static route by route outside command to this particular IP, right, from both firewall 1 and 2. So now let us jump to Cisco device and I have to create a default route to this particular IP. Okay, so then let us do the communication from Cisco 1 to Cisco 2. I should be in a position to ping from Cisco 1 and 2. So now let us enable the static route from Cisco device 1. So let us go to the configuration mode and let us, I am going to create a default route. IP route 0.0.0, 0.0.0.0 followed by this particular IP, that is 2.1. Just I am creating a default route 192.168.2.1. Similar way I have to go to Cisco device 2. I have to create a route to this particular IP, right? So go to Cisco 2, go to the configuration mode, IP route 0.0.0.0, 0.0.0.0 followed by this particular IP, that is 3.1, 192.168.3.1. So we are done with the routing part. Now let us ping from Cisco 1 to Cisco 2 and Cisco 2 to Cisco 1. I should be in a position to ping. Let us check now. So ping 192.168.3.2. So still I'm not able to ping. We already created a static route in both ASA firewall 1 and 2, and also we have created a default route from Cisco 1 and 2. Still I'm not able to ping. Let us check the from Cisco device 2 also to this particular IP 192.168.2.2. Okay, so the problem is always we have to create the access list. So already we have created a static route, but still the access list is mandatory. Why? Because always we know traffic always flow from the higher security zone to the lower security zone, not from the reverse. So that's the reason I couldn't ping from Cisco 2 to Cisco 1 and Cisco 1 to Cisco 2. So let us enable the access list. Okay, I'm going to create a simple ICMP access list in both Cisco ASA firewall 1 and 2. Then let us check the communication from Cisco device 1 and 2. Okay, so let us go to firewall 1. So go to the configuration mode, access list out underscore in. There's a name extended permit and the protocol is ICMP. Source and destination, let us make it any. Then I'm going to apply this statement via access group. Okay, so we have to apply this access list to make it effective. and out underscore in, that is an interface outside. So this is for allowing from the lower to the higher security, that is from outside to inside, right? So the same like scenario I have to create in ASA firewall 2 also. Now let us check the communication 3.2. Still I am not able to reach, right? So I have to enable the, so one end I'm able to reach, and let us check from the other end, still it is not pingable, right? So that means I have to enable the communication in firewall 2 also. So go to firewall 2, let us copy this. Access list out extender permit ICMP any, and let us now enable from firewall 2. Okay, and also let us check, apply this statement. Okay, so we are done with the commands. So what are things we have done is we have created a route outside to this particular IP from firewall 1, and firewall 2 I create a route outside to this particular thing. Just I'm creating a static route in both 1 and 2. Then I have created a default route pointing to this IP from Cisco 1, and Cisco 2 I create the default route pointing to this IP. Then I have created the access list in both 1 and 2 firewall, right? So now let us check the communication from. So from Cisco 1, I'm able to reach 3.2. Cisco 2, I should be in position to reach 2.2. 2.2, right? So that means it's successfully working the communication between Cisco 1 and 2. So if you want, we can check the access list hits. Okay, show access list. So you can see the hit count is increasing. Similarly, let us go to firewall 2, show access list. So you're able to see here, right? So this is how we can enable the static routing in ASA firewall, and always check for the access list, because you configure the security zone over here. So obviously you have to enable the access list for the communication between Cisco device 1 and 2. So three things I have done. First, I configure the directly connected interfaces, and I assign the corresponding security zone on both ASA firewall 1 and 2. Then I have created a static route in ASA firewall by route outside pointing to this gateway. Similarly for ASA firewall 2, I have created route outside to this particular IP. Then I have created the default route in both Cisco 1 and 2 pointing to this corresponding IP. These are things I have done. And finally, I have created the access list. Why? Because always traffic flows from the higher to the lower security zone. To allow in the reverse, right, from lower to the higher security, I have to enable the access list in both 1 and 2. I have applied via the access group statement. So this is how we can enable the static routing in ASA firewall. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos. Thanks and have a wonderful day. Thank you.